Hi guys, it's middle of June and I wanted to document. Ooh, I didn't expect to document rat. How about that? And we have just got that box which has bait in it to control these rats as veggies are starting to grow. I was about to create a video tour of the garden and that just happened. So yeah, we are dealing with that problem. I wonder some of you are dealing with that too. So I'm gonna continue documenting. All right. So here's corn, which I've planted 3 weeks ago, and this is basically compost, 3-4 inches of compost, and I've planted I think close to 150 seeds here. The first couple of rows is Indian corn, and then you have the regular white sweet corn and the back yellow sweet corn. Cucumbers are starting to grow. So they are like almost, this one is the biggest plant, and I'm training them on this trellis here. So each 25-gallon bag has two, so they have tiny cucumbers on them already, which are starting to grow. So, and these are small one, pickle bush. So we'll see how that goes. Here is sweet potatoes, which have started from slips, and they are taking off now. So I have 3 or 4 slips in each one of the bag, and I have 6 bags of these. These are the beets, Chioggia beets, and here are the peas. We've already harvested the smaller variety, and this is the larger variety which grows a little taller. And these peas, we've been snacking on them, are really sweet. These are cauliflowers growing in buckets. And here's a corn which I started 4 weeks ago. They are taller than the other patch we have. So again, this is compost on clay again, and they are growing. This one tomato is black creme grafted on a rootstock. Let me focus here, and that's the point where I made the graft. So you can see different color of stem there. So I'm starting to grow that. And these here are mammoth sunflowers, really growing large. Other cauliflower plants, and this is our biggest plant. This is first year I'm growing cauliflower, and oh my god, this is like at least 2.5 feet wide. And some more cauliflowers here. Sunflowers are almost like 5 feet tall here. And over here we have tomato plants. So as I have clay soil and it is on an incline, so what I've done is I put cinder blocks, put wood on top, have a flat surface, and 8 foot is the width, so I have 4 plants on each row. So this is I have 26 tomato varieties which are growing. So this particular one, and 16 here, 4 rows of 4 each. So this particular one is called Hughes. I've read the book called Epic Tomatoes, and the author talks about this particular tomato variety being the best producer. So some varieties I grow because they look cool, others I grow because we like to cook with them. And this particular one, I'm more exploring this variety to see if they produce as the book suggested. And that all depends upon the conditions as well. This one is called Stu Peach, and this plant is one of the early varieties and starting to grow. I've been using my toothbrush to pollinate some of these flowers. This one is called Eva Purple Ball, and again it is starting to set flowers as well. This is Big Beef. This plant was exposed to a whole bunch of elements while growing, and I'm wondering how this would do. It look weaker than some of the others it is growing with, but it's still doing okay, so that's good. Over here I have Amish paste. I've been trying to grow this particular variety for 3 years, and every time my plant dies. And this plant in its younger stage is very helpless, lack of better term, and it needs a lot of care, at least in my case, and it ends up dying. And this year it's healthy, and it is starting to set flowers here. This is a paste variety, and one thing I'm trying to keep my eye on is these varieties which are not oblate shaped, rather cylindrical shaped. They are prone to blossom and rot, so I'm keeping my eye out on that. This one is Black Krim. Again, it has set some fruit here, growing good. I haven't pruned any suckers on this, just the bottom branches, so we'll see how that works out. And anytime I see a damaged leaf, basically I just take it out. This one is Brandywine. So I don't see any fruit set yet, but again, this is one of the bigger varieties, takes its own time. This one is called Wisconsin 55, and it is starting to set fruit right there. So far this year they've been looking healthy. Last year by this time they already had what we call leaf septoria. All the leaves got black spots on them, and it was a struggle throughout the year and never had much of produce. This one is called Nepal. It's an old school tomato flavor on this tomato, and this is from Johnny Seeds. This is the biggest, baddest looking plant amongst all of them, and this is Black Prince, and it has set a whole bunch of fruit on it. This is the cutest plant of all the tomato plants I'm growing, and it's called Candyland Red. Again, look how teeny tiny the leaves are, and the fruit set is also very little and small. So these, my hand example here, like the size of it, and there's a whole bunch of clusters here. Like everywhere I look, there are clusters of flowers on it. So again, the leaves look so cute and small. It's beautiful looking plant. And here is Green Giant. Again, this goes back to the book Epic Tomatoes. This apparently in green varieties, it rivals the taste of red ones, so I've grown it. Here is variety called Park Swapper. This is basically Parks company's own hybrid, and it's improved one over their previous successors. So again, it is setting a lot of fruit, and it's a hybrid. I'm growing mix of hybrids and heirlooms because in case things go wrong with heirlooms, you can fall back on hybrids which have more disease resistance, at least to get some sort of fruit, because last year I didn't get anything. And this is from Baker Creek. This variety is called pink tie-dye, and I have its cousin, green tie-dye, over there. Healthy looking plants, strong plants, not much fruit set yet. And this one is called San Marzano. So again, paste tomato. We do a lot of cooking with our tomatoes, so want to make some paste with it so we can use it for cooking. So that's how the tomatoes are looking so far. And I already shown you guys the cucumbers. So they are starting to look really healthy, and I'm trying to again train them up the vine here, so that they can go up and produce. And let me take you guys to the front. I also broke off a sucker which was growing at the bottom of Candyland Red, and I put it in water, and in case we need to make a second wave of plants, it's already starting to grow a root, and I put it in water and a couple of drops of kelp meal in there to get it rooting a little faster. So anytime I'm gonna take off suckers, I'm gonna try and put them in here to start new plants in case I need to start a second wave of plants during the summer. And here's the second half of my garden, which I have everything set up in raised beds. So you're looking at a bed which has a hodgepodge of a lot of things here. So these are onions called New York. I got them seeds from Johnny's and started them in March, and then transplanted them here. So I'm growing them in clumps of 4s and 5s. These are flowers, Morning Glory. And here's lettuce. So I've took some lettuce seeds and put them in a row, and we've been harvesting lettuce here for last 2 to 3 weeks and sharing it with our neighbors because it's growing like crazy. So even if we cut the top off, this was cut off altogether, and it has grown back up this much again. In between here you have peanuts. I'm giving peanuts a try this year to see how they grow. And here is cilantro. We've been using cilantro a lot. Here's red Russian kale, 4 plants, peanuts in between again. And over there we have lettuce again, which we are harvesting the full heads, and as you can see, the head on the left has grown back again. So in the back here I have beans, a row of beans. So beans are starting to flower, and you can see teeny tiny beans are already growing there. In between that, here's a hybrid tomato growing in 5-gallon bucket. The variety is called Celebrity. It's again one of the biggest producers, growing it because in case heirlooms don't turn out good. And here's 3 varieties of onions, a whole bed full of onions, and they are actually pretty tall right now. So I've given them fish fertilizer, and they are growing in front of our eyes. Like every single day come out, they seem to have grown a little. Here's a couple of squash plants here. Here's a eggplant which got destroyed by these beetles, and I've been spraying them with organic Mighty-Side. They go away and then they come back, so I don't know what else I can do, what else my options are. And there's a butterfly right there. And these 4 to 5 plants are squashes and zucchinis. And here's a full bed of potatoes here. And I mulched them, hilled them, in fact, with hay. So then a couple of plants in the middle were showing yellowing leaves, and I thought it's a disease, so I pulled them out. And here's a bed of carrots. Some of the carrots are growing while others have decided to bolt and create a flower, so we won't get any carrots here, but at least we'll get a flower. Over here again in the back are beans and one potato plant here, and in between I have other tomato varieties growing on the side here. So this one is Sun Gold. It's one of the sweetest yellow cherry varieties, and I can see it setting fruit already. And here is Cherokee Purple. I also have Paul Robeson here. So I like this variety, the taste of it, so I've grown two. And I saw one of the questions on the tomato growing forum is, are they as good as people say? So I want to document the whole process and taste them and share my thoughts on that. And this one is called Yellow Bell. It's like, again, paste tomato, but they mature to develop a yellow fruit instead of red. I also have Mortgage Lifter here, and we have Lucky Cross. Again, this selection is influenced by the book Epic Tomatoes. It's been mentioned in there. And this is called Anna Russian. It is setting so much flowers, and here's the fruit. It produces a heart shape fruit, so looking forward to that. Peppers are starting to develop flowers. More tomatoes here. Here's more tomatoes. And this is elephant garlic, which we pulled out the other plants, but we let one develop the head. So we want to see this lovely flower develop, and it's a attraction for pollinators too, so we can attract pollinators to our garden. Over here, as you can see, the pepper is starting to develop. Pepper on this plant as well. Tomatoes, and here's our Spanish Roja garlic, a bed of it, and this is on its final leg, so we'll be harvesting these in another 2 weeks time. We've already taken the scapes off of them to encourage the nutrients going to the bulbs. An eggplant, this one looks better, and beets. So I have two types of beets growing here. Chicago, one is Chicago something and another one is Bull's Blood. And here is glass gem corn. It's the kind of corn which a cob develops each kernel of a different color. We've grown them last year, so these are my home seed. They are decorative primarily, or you can use them for popcorn. So yeah, 30 plants there. And here's ginger. I bought ginger online, and I've taken transplants out of that one bucket where I'm starting. You can see another transplant getting ready, and I put them in buckets full of compost so that they grow in their each space, and that way they produce more ginger. There is turmeric in there as well, and it's been in there for 2.5-3 months now, and I can't get it to germinate. When I pull it out, there is something on some growth there, but not very much. So anyone out there who knows how to get turmeric germinated faster, let me know. Drop me a comment. I can use some help. So that's how the garden is looking like, guys, right now. Everything's looking good. One of the things I'm struggling with, as I said, these flea beetles killing the eggplants, and some of the tomatoes have this soft body insect which looks red in color, so I've been spraying them. If I can find an example, I can show. But other than that, so far so good. So thank you for watching.